Welcome to Thinking Re-envisioned with your host, Henry G. Noel. I guess you could say he's standing conventional wisdom on its head. Here's Henry.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Transitional Radio's Thinking Re-envisioned, the number 3 rated show on IPMNation.com. And I wish to thank all of our listeners all over the globe for keeping this show in the top 5. My name is Henry G. Noel, and I am your host this evening for Thinking Re-envisioned. We are here to make you think. We're here to make you question and question everything. I wish to thank you for joining me this great Thursday evening on this, our 11th episode. And if I can ask a favor of you, could you please go to our Transitional Radio YouTube channel and go ahead and subscribe to it, because that will help us get the ability to go ahead and place our rebroadcast on the Transitional Radio site. I appreciate that, and I thank you so much. Now, we are broadcasting live this evening from our uplink studio in the beautiful city of Cuenca, Ecuador, 2 degrees south of the equator, where the gravitations are actually slightly lower than anywhere else on the globe. And we're broadcasting live on IPMNation.com, Thinking Re-envisioned's Facebook and YouTube pages. And I wish to thank our listeners from all over the globe, from places like, well, the U.S. and great here in Ecuador, the United Kingdom and Ireland, Colombia, Canada, New Zealand, the Philippines, and Germany, Argentina, Mexico, United Australia, Denmark, Peru, Bangladesh, Belgium, Bulgaria, Switzerland, India, Kenya, Netherlands, Pakistan, Uganda, Japan, Liberia, Malaysia, Thailand, and Brazil. Thank you all for tuning in. And to those on live radio and those to our rebroadcasts and all you folks on the Fly on the Wall video, great to have you with us. Thank you for listening. I would also like to thank our good friends at Wirecast for making it possible for us to be broadcasting both live, at least I think so, and globally. So to all of our listeners who wish to participate in this show, email me at henry@henrygnoel.com. It's my wish to present a show where everyone can be as actively involved as they want. We trust you have had an enjoyable Thursday thus far, with or without the snow, depending on where you are. And I'd like to continue that. So let's get into the thread, say hi, and see what's on everybody's mind. This is Free for All Thursday. You wanted an hour? Well, tonight, you got it. So we're going to see what all is on your mind. Okay? So I'm going to say hi. Marie, thank you so much for joining in. Candace, great to have you. Thanks, bro. Appreciate everything. Diego, thank you so much for being a part of the show. Jamie, thank you again. Heather, great to see you. And thank my trusty sidekick, or actually I think I'm her trusty sidekick. Rita's there. Thank you so much, sweetie. Jamie, Wayne, yep, Diego, this is it, man. I love it. We're going to put on for an hour here. So Candace, hello there. Peace to you too. Alice, great. Thanks for joining us. Hello, everybody. All right. This is Free for All Thursday. This is your forum. This is your chance to either let me have it or throw out the questions as to what you've been wanting to talk about. And we'll just go for this and really just have fun with it. We've got a whole hour to just have a ball and go ahead and cover some of the topics that you want to talk about. You know, we covered a lot of things this past week. We talked about politics. We talked about religion. We talked about a few things. We still covered a bit of honesty, and we talked about a bit of fear. So, if there's the show is too short, as we get into it and we just kind of run out of time, well, we have a whole hour now, so we can run out of a whole lot of time if that's the case. Joseph, welcome. It's great to see you. We got off forum, so let's see what we can get going. So if there's anything particular on your mind, let's cover it. Let's talk about it. We can go back, rehash things if that was the case. Greetings. Salutations, man. It's great to have you here, Joseph. Thank you. And let's see what goes on. You guys were bringing up some good questions during the course of the week. And so, let's cover them. Let's see what we got going. Otherwise, I'm stuck doing a dissertation again, and that's not really what I want to do. I really love having this two-way conversation, or at least this somewhat of a two-way conversation. I guess it is. It's my conversation to you, and I have to read what you write, but we don't have the phone thing down here fixed up, and it's a long-distance call for everybody. A little expensive to call me down here, so we'll just go at it this way. And those of you listening live on radio and to the rebroadcast, again, email me with your questions, henry@henrygnoel.com. I will be happy, and I've shown that. I'd be happy to bring it up on air, and we'll talk about it and see what's going on. Let's see. What do we got? Joseph says, is Pluto a planet? Hey, that's a good question. You know, it used to be, and then it got demoted, and then it got dismissed. Hey, John, welcome. Welcome. Hey, you got the floor. We have a whole hour, so we can get to have all sorts of fun. You know, Pluto got rejected and downsized to a, I don't know, what, a planetoid. Isn't that what they called it, a planetoid? I'm not sure. I think that's what they kind of called it. I'm not sure if maybe size matters. I don't know, but it's yes, it got downsized from a planet to a planetoid. But I thought I read something where they're thinking about putting it back as a planet if they haven't done that. Let's see. So what do we got, John? MP makes it difficult, but I made it. Okay. Yep. There you go. I'm glad you're on. And you got the floor too if you want it. Questions coming in from you guys. We have a whole hour to cover anything you guys want to get into. We can get into some of the nice stuff. We can talk about the weather and all of the stuff that's going on back there. Well, we can get real hot and heavy and talk into politics and talk into religion or whatever it is that you would like to cover. So not that I'm ready, but we can certainly do that and see what you think. You know, it seems like the more controversial, the more fun it gets to be around here. So we'll see what we can do here with you guys. Otherwise, I'm stuck talking about all the stuff that I talk about, which is the fear and the honesty and all of this other stuff that you know, I don't want to put you guys to sleep again, but you know, it is important stuff, but we can certainly delve into that too. But yeah, anything that you really want to do. So Joseph brought up the question. I love that. That's really kind of cute. I like that. Jamie says, I am still laughing at Brian's last 30 minutes about enlightenment and yoga. Yes. I'll bet when I told him that a life coach and a therapist, he wanted to take the sledgehammer to my head. I'm in agreement with him, and I'm starting to love who I am. And that's fabulous, Jamie. You know, if we can't laugh at ourselves and poke fun at ourselves, you know, there's really no sense in being around, and that's really the bottom line. And it really is true. We're here for such a short period of time, and God, why not make it the best that we can? People that want to enjoy themselves by suffering for 70 or 75 or 100 years, I don't quite get that. It seems senseless to me. So if we're going to do something, why not enjoy it? I mean, that's what we're here for, is for a great experience, not to be under stress and under pressure and under control. I think we're supposed to be enjoying our life. Well, otherwise, why would we? I can't imagine people or anybody trying to, even those that would have created us so that we could simply have a miserable time. I don't get that. So if we can't do that, if we can't laugh at ourselves and go about our daily lives a little bit happier than what we do, I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. And you know, and enlightenment, I love that. Yes, I usually go about enlightenment a whole different way from other people. Yes, I believe that we are enlightened. We already are enlightened, and it's got nothing special about it. We are enlightened. It's just that we've covered it up with so much garbage. We've lost sight of who we are and what it's all about. So Joseph says, if you milk cows, you don't need yoga. Well, it gives you strong arms. I guess that's what it'll do. Supple hands, though, Joseph. You'll have supple hands. Shane, welcome, Shane. It's great to see you. Hey, it's great to see you. I'm glad you made it tonight. New house and all. I think that's fabulous, Shane. Shane in 2020. I love this. We're going to have to carry it on to this show. Candace says, I don't think some people know how to get kick-started. No, they don't. And that's the thing. We've been taught so well how somebody else wants to live our lives. And that is a major problem. Hey there, Shane, how's it going? You know, and so we don't even know how to live our lives. We're living somebody else's life. You know, it's mom and dad wanted us to do this as a job, or some friend wanted us to do this as a job, or we knew how to do this and we ended up with no choice, and so we fell into it. I had to do it. Jenny, welcome to the show. Jenny, it's great to see you. I hope you are doing well. I hope you're feeling better and hanging in there, man. Oh, my prayers are out to you. I'm hoping and giving everything I can for you. So thank you for joining us. You know, it's not about the suffering. It's not about us having a miserable life. It is about doing the things that make us enjoy this life. And that's really what it's all about. John says, I just delved into Murray Brochin's work. Awesome stuff. I highly recommend it. Very good. Hi, good. There goes a good recommendation. You're too busy now for 2020. I don't know, Shane. Sorry. Then it'll be right in on a ticket then. But so yeah, we're dealing with a lot of things that don't make sense. And again, you know, I think what Jamie brings up about the enlightenment, you know, my whole concept of enlightenment is we are enlightened. And I love when you read about the monks that are focused on, you know, meditating, getting out there and putting themselves out into space in order to discover enlightenment. Try going inside, because that's really what it is. Shane says, Wayne will have to carry me. So for his 2020 election bid for presidency, Wayne, you're going to have to carry him. Hugs back at you, Jenny. Thank you. So yeah, sometimes we need a therapist, from Alice. Sometimes we need a therapist to dig us out of a hole. Brian and Henry are good ones. Oh, well, thank you, Alice. I appreciate that. You know, it's, no, I always, you know, trying to figure all that out too. You know, you think about us being stuck in the middle of a hole. You know, all we got to do is scrape the sides, you know, and all that dirt will start to fill in the hole. And we just keep stepping on what we just knocked off the sides, and we get out of the hole. There's always ways of doing it. It's not just we have to hang loose and suffer. We don't have to do that. Candace says, Shane, you might be on the ballot floating around. My bad. I love it, Candace. That's great. Shane, meditation is great. I discovered long ago how much I can help. There you go. You know, we're responsible for ourselves. And if we want to be allowing ourselves to be kicked in the teeth, yes, it's our choice. I wouldn't do that as a great hobby. It's not a lot of fun. But yes, we can do that. And we do this throughout our whole life. We stress. We work in jobs we don't really want. We are frustrated, angry, disillusioned. And this is every single day we do this. And we keep praying and hoping for a better time or a better world, or maybe something will change. Well, that's it. Go inside. Inside. That's where it all is. It's all there. All of our answers are right there. We don't need to go anywhere else. We just have it. We have to break through a lot of the walls we've built and the armor, the armor suit that we put on. But we don't need all that help. We certainly can handle it, and we are able to do it. It's just finding out what it is that you really want to do. You want to understand how to change. You want to understand how this world works. You want to understand why how easily we are so manipulated, how easily we are distracted. All you got to do is pay attention to what's going on. Usually when something goes on in the news, it's usually a distraction to keep you from watching and finding out about something else. 9 times out of 10, there's a distraction. There's something's going on elsewhere that they don't want us to know about, and there's the distraction. And it works so well. I mean, we're such patsies. We just do this every time. And then we talk about it on the shows. We do it on Facebook. We spend weeks talking about one of the celebrities and what they're doing just because we're distracted. Joseph says the only way to change us making a choice, good or bad, is learn and adjust. Absolutely. You know, we never learn from what we do right. We learn from our mistakes, and at least we hope we learn from our mistakes. And that's really it. It's not so much good or bad. It's what did we learn from it? And that's it. Just don't have to duplicate it. Jane says, and give yourself the confidence that you can do it yourself. Absolutely right. Because that's where it is. We were given the tools. We have them. And we got it from the source themselves. So why don't we trust that? Why is it we think it's outside? We don't trust ourselves. We don't trust the information that we were given. We have to go out, investigate. We have to go out and find out for ourselves what's going on. It's all here. We just have to learn to trust it, to understand that it's all there, and stop counting on everybody else for the answers. It's us. We have them. John says, insurance industry is the biggest money laundering scheme of all time. Cancel all insurance policies and starve the machine. There you go. And that's, we fall for all of this stuff all the time. And well, it's not so much we fall for it as much as we are forced into doing a lot of things. Big Pharma, another great direction. Monsanto, another great direction if you want to go these things. So it's, deep conditioning. It is a tremendously deep conditioning. We have been trained so well to bark, to jump, to cry, to whine, to complain, to get distracted. We have learned well. We're great puppies. We have learned it well. And, it's sad because this is what we do. Shane says, and there's no shame in making mistakes along the way. I've fallen more than I've progressed over the years. Most of the distance I've taken across my life has been vertical. It's getting up from the ground and standing back up again. I think I've gone hundreds and hundreds of miles getting up off the ground from mistakes I've made. But this is what we do. This is really how we do it. But we have to understand we're being directed, we're being conditioned, we're being programmed to function. Television, they don't call it programming for nothing. There's a reason why it's called programming. We're the targets. And they're there. Let's see. Joseph says, don't be afraid to watch, read others to learn. That's right. See and is doing. Absolutely right. And Heather says, feel like a lemming sometimes. And we are. That's the way we were trained. It's not our fault. Okay? It's not our fault because this is how we were trained, and we're being good, obedient children, and we're following the herd. This is what we do. But once you know that you're a lemming, once you know that you're a sheeple, then it's shame on you if we don't change, because you do know. And that is the bottom line. Heather says, John says, fall hard, fall often, fall forward. Yeah, there you go. Will Smith, that's right. Heather says, change the way I think and have become a better person for it. Absolutely, Heather, that's what you do. We change the way we think. Take a look at what we've been doing. It hasn't worked. And we know it hasn't worked because we do nothing but complain about it, but then stop complaining and then do something about it. Let's see. Rita says, again, question everything. Pay attention to what your gut is telling you. Absolutely right. I mean, that's the motto of our show. Question everything, because you have to. Shane says, surround yourself with positive people that can help you along the way. They can help laugh with you when you fall. That's absolutely right. You find out you just don't you don't cry so much when people are starting to laugh, because it is funny, and that's the way it's all about. Jamie says, P.S. I'm not knocking therapy and life advice. It serves me well. Spirituality and faith are medicine. Yes, they are. And that's the thing. I think you hit it. Spirituality and faith. And that is what we got to count on, because that's what we were given. As young children, we believe in everything. We believe everything. We're learning. We absorb everything. Then somewheres along the line, we stop and we start learning what we're taught. We start learning what we're instructed to do. We start fitting into these cubicles. That is where the issues start to lie. And so we start to have problems with that. Doing the right thing. This is from Maria. Doing the right thing is not always the popular thing. Sometimes you have to go against the current. Absolutely right. We're not sheeple. We're not sheeple. That is the thing. You got to go against the herd. You got to go against the grain. You've got to stand up for who you are. And any time at all spent looking in the mirror, any time at all in going into yourself to identify the truths, you're going against the grain. And that's what you need to do. It's that fingernails across the chalkboard. You want to get people's attention? That'll do it. Rita says, Jamie, you have found what works for you. Good on you. And it is important, and it really is, Jamie. You know, everybody, if you don't try, you've already lost. You know, we don't lose by attempting something. We lose when we don't do anything at all. And that is what most of us do. We don't argue. We don't fight. We don't stand up for ourselves. We don't criticize. We don't tell somebody just because you have this title doesn't mean that make you right. We don't do that. We don't question enough. And that is part of the problem. And when we do finally question, most of the times we don't ask the right questions to actually get the answers that we need to be able to go through. So to understand. So yes, we can do this. It's not a problem to do it. It's not hard to do it. We just have to go do it. And we don't do that. We choose not to. We choose to take the easy way, the way that the crowd goes. The problem is that we see it as an easy way because it's easy right now. We don't have to be confrontational. We don't have to have arguments. We don't have to do anything like that. But in the long term, it's a very difficult path. And getting from this path to your real path that you're supposed to be walking is extremely difficult if you're not paying attention to where you are. Derek, hello, good evening. How are you, D? Great to see you, man. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate that. Oh, man. So yes, we are our worst enemy. We simply have to recognize it. Joseph says, I've never been conditioned. What do you mean by this? Conditioned. We have been raised by parents that believed a certain way. We have been taught in school and learned teachers' opinions and the way that they believe. We've been to churches or synagogues or mosques, and we have listened to them preach to us, and we have adopted their ways of thinking. We have learned from friends. We have learned in our jobs. We have been conditioned. We listen to politicians. We listen to the news. All of that is conditioning. That is setting us up for whatever it is they want us to be doing. If they want us to be distracted, then we're distracted. Look at reality television. What is that all about? Pure distraction to keep you from understanding what's really going on. Being talked to by politicians. What do they wrap up all of their messages when they get on? They never come out to say something really good. They come out to sit down and put you into a state of fear. Why? Because fear is a condition that we are taught. Hatred is a condition that we are taught. And we are taught to discriminate. We are taught to take the human race and divide it up by color and religion and politics and sex and every other way that you could possibly divide us. That's conditioning. And we have fallen for it. We accept it. We go along with the flow. And yeah, we'll say sometimes, no, we don't. No, we don't. No, I'm not prejudiced. No, I'm not racist. But yet it'll come out. And that's conditioning. It's because it is. The fear. How do we react on fear? It's the conditioning that we go through. And so they know that when they place us in a state of fear, we're going to do several things. One, you're going to be a first responder and you're going to jump to try to help. Two, you're going to sit on a fence and you're going to wait and see which way you want to go. Third, you're not going to get involved at all. They know this. That's conditioning. So all of the things that we do in our life, every aspect of our life, we have learned. And if we really want to understand what is true to our core, is we have to strip away all that conditioning. We have to get rid of all of that stuff and identify who we really are. What is it that really matters to us? Not what somebody told us matters, but what actually does matter. Let's see. Shane says it's more fun to rock the boat than it is to sit on and ride the waves. Absolutely. Yep. Rita agrees with you, Shane. And there you go. Being a spectator is really kind of tough sometimes. Shane then says the ones in fear are easier to control. They will listen to anything to make the fear go away. Absolutely right. That's that little comfort blanket. Diego, exactly. Thank you. And I appreciate that. Diego, thank you. Rita says, isn't it, I'm not sure if that's chance. I'm sorry. And yes, it is. Joseph says, I don't watch much TV. I have always had the opportunity to do things, made my own adventures. And that's fabulous, Joseph. It really is. And I think that is terrific. But, we have all gone through the educational system. We have all voted. We've all been part of politics. We've all listened to what's going on with that, even in the movies. I mean, we are all conditioned to react in certain ways. They know if they push this button, we're going to jump to the left. And they know if they push this button, you're going to lay down on the ground. And they know if they push that button, you're going to jump up and you're going to be angry. So they know how to play that game. It's a psychological thing, and they know it well. They have studies and studies and studies on all of this stuff, how we react, how the human actually reacts to situations. And so this is why it's so successful for the majority of people. We again, well, I'll use the numbers example that we talked about, that you posted actually, Joseph. 537 elected politicians in our federal government. 350 million of us. And we listen to every word they say. We may not agree with it, but they have a captive audience because we have been conditioned to do that. Candace says, I am a Viking heart. I won't sit on the fence or ignore. It shocks me when I see people taking videos instead of helping. Yeah, and there's the way society goes. 15 minutes of fame is worth just about any criticism that you can get, and I think that's where people do it. They know that I'm going to videotape this person being beaten up by 14 people. You're right. Instead of getting involved, we just take videos of it, and that becomes, then it goes on to Facebook and then becomes a, celebrity things. So yeah, this is part of who we are, and it's really hard. Joseph says, I vote for people I know or have met. I buy things that work or that I can fix, that you can, and that's great, Joseph. It really is, because that's part of the things that we have to do. We have to take control back. And we have to understand too. I mean, I remember working a presidential campaign one year, and I knew him, and we celebrated a birthday with him. When we went to had his birthday party. I never knew him. Talk about a yes man. Could sell you sell ice to an Eskimo. Nope, that is part of the problem. We don't know. They've been groomed and groomed and groomed by others, and that's where their loyalty will lie. Push comes to shove, I'm under the bus, and they're going just fine. So we have to take a step back and really realize what's going on and what's happening. Rita says that these types of folks do not want to make an investment of themselves. No. Shane says, if you need that many government officials to control, then there must be something wrong with the system. Absolutely right. And look at the constructiveness going on in Washington. Come on, the system's broke. John says it's more of the social structure, having to have a driver's license, marriage certificate, permit, school. The list goes on and on. All of these are behavioral conditions. Yes, they are. Don't need a license to be a father, do you? It's amazing. You have to drive a car, you have to have a license. What? Yeah, it is sort of ridiculous. Even your car has to have a license. Think about that one. Your dog has to have a license. Jamie says, my ex always told me that I went up the down staircase and I would thank him even though he thought I was an insult. Yeah, see, yep. Yeah, I think I've been told the same thing. thing I was told, I got in the elevator and the only way it goes is down. I thought that was great. Joseph says, I control my destiny as much as possible, genetic issues as much as possible. Joseph says, I lived in Africa. We really have to take a good look at us and understand we do the best we can with what we have been taught. Joseph says, I lived in Holland. You can do it. We can do this. It's not hard. It's simply we have to do it. We have to want to do it. We have to want to change. We have to want to understand our role in this world. We have to understand our role in our own life. We have to be able to accept the fact that our life, it was never our life. Our life begins when we finally accept the fact that our life hasn't been our life, and we make the changes to make it our life. I use the analogy of think about a pristine meadow that just have a beautiful blanket of snow. Most of the parks that are in the Northeast now, pristine, not a footprint. That's your path. And when you take that first step, you've changed your course of your direction, because your path's not laid out in front of you. It's not laid out in front of you. That's the path someone put there for you to follow. You can't follow a path that you haven't created yet. And when you finally do take that first step to create your path, you've just taken control of your life. John says, do you pay bills, shop in stores, ask for permission to buy structures, to build structures if the state says you have to? All of these are behavioral conditioning. And I'll tell you, I'll give you a perfect example. Shane and my daughter, they had a house built, and they wanted a specific elevation, but the house next door to them was going to be that elevation. So they couldn't have the style of the house that they wanted. They had to settle for something different. This is what it's about. We don't realize the depth within which we are sucked into this. You just we don't understand it because we haven't stepped out of it to take a look at it. I moved here to Ecuador, after living in the state it was just, I realized things don't not the way I wanted to go. And so it was interesting. So that's when I realized, okay, something has to change. So I did. I left the country, and I came here, and I've been able to now, from the outside, take a good look and see what's going on. And you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised what you actually see when you get out of the forest. You're standing so close to a tree, you can't even describe what kind of a tree it is, because all you're doing is staring at the bark. Well, when you step back and step back and step back, then you get to see what the forest is all about. And that's really what we have to do. We have to step back. We have to step back not only from what's going on in the world, we have to step back from ourselves, because we are not who we think we are. Most of our opinions are from somebody else. It's just the way it is. This is our learning. This is our conditioning. Let's see. We have Candace says, I have a good friend in Port Elizabeth. Okay, very good. And Joseph says, John, grow your own food, buy or better. Grow your own food, buy or better for some. Barter. There you go. And barter. Well, and that is the way we got to go. Yep. But it all, and the word does work. Yeah, Shane is me. Spend more time inside anyway. You're exactly right. But the fact was, you had to settle. Somebody's had a rule out there that you had to follow. Joseph says the game is out to outsmart the system. Actually, Joseph, I think the game at some point in time is to destroy the system. The system doesn't work. So instead of trying to outsmart it, why don't we just create a new system? This system doesn't work, so why don't we just create a new system? And there's where the chutzpah comes in. Jamie says, do you have a guest room? Absolutely, Jamie, we sure do. Joseph says, no, I don't pay. You don't pay for a dog license. Okay, well, and there you go, perfect. Joseph says it becomes a challenge. It does. It isn't easy. Believe me, it isn't easy. Because we have to go against a lot of the things that we have been told we have to do, the way we're supposed to live our lives, and it goes against the grain. I mean, I think I brought that up the other day with the voting thing. When you posted what it was dealing with that Mr. Lowy, what he said, we don't even realize why we do the things we do. Why do we vote? Because we were taught to vote. Because it's our patriotic duty to vote, our voice. No, that's not the reason why we vote. It's frustrating. It really is hard. I mean, when you realize if you live in any of the 13 original states where they were under, and I'll speak specifically for the 13 original states, that was all under British Commonwealth, and that was all set up under the British Commonwealth, under the maritime law, and when you check and do the research, the Temple Bar out of London is the ones that actually still own all that land, regardless of what everybody believes and what we've been taught in school and the Declaration of Independence and all of that sort of stuff. They still own it. Actually, I think the Vatican owns it, because I think King John actually transferred the authority to all of that to the Pope at the time. And so I think the Vatican actually owns all that land. So, you don't even know. So even if you have a farm in upstate New York, you don't own it. Vatican owns it. So and that's all because of maritime law and the way everything was structured and set up hundreds of years ago. So it's difficult to fathom. We have to understand. We have to learn this stuff. We have to really know what's going on, because as you mentioned about, this to go against the system. Well, you have to understand the system, first of all, Joseph, to go against the system. You have to understand what it is. And in order to go against the system, you really have to understand what the purpose of the system was when it was implemented. What was its real intention? So you can try to circumvent the system, go around the system. But if we don't understand what the real purpose of the system was originally, we're spinning on wheels. So we have to learn, we have to study, we have to understand what it is we're up against. The Art of War, okay, the book, The Art of War, it tells you several, how it is you actually go into battle. You never go into battle on your opponent's turf. You always force them to come to you on your turf. There's reasons for all of this. And that's the same thing with going up against the system. The system doesn't work. Going around the system, unless you understand the system, what its intention is, you may be avoiding a system that you didn't have to avoid in the first place. Or it is a system that you didn't have to worry about going around. You could have ignored it. Or we could have gone in and dismantled it and brought back something different. So we have to really look at things and understand what it is we're up against. We can't take a challenge and not understand. You never pick a fight with someone that you don't know what their weakness is. You just don't do that. It's almost infantile. You pick a fight that you're going to win. It's like gambling. I don't gamble. I don't gamble because I have more enjoyment watching my money go down a toilet, because at least it's doing something. I always said that I only bet on a sure thing if I know I'm going to win. So that's not gambling. It's a guarantee. I know what's going to happen. So I don't do that. I've learned a long time ago to not do that. So you really have to understand what it is we're up against. And how do we defeat that? How do we beat that? How do we confront it? How do we learn it and study it? That's the whole point of all of this. That's what Thinking Re-envisioned is. It's taking the way we've always thought and say, it doesn't work. Scrap it. Let's rethink this. We have to rethink it. We have to understand what it is we're doing, why we're doing it, and then go at it. That's why we created Thinking Re-envisioned, because that's what we have to do. Let's see. Where am I? I'm over here. We are. Let's see. We have break the rules. Yep. And Joseph says, yeah, break the rules. Joseph says we live in a fallen world. Yes, we do. It's our fault. It's the humanity's fault because we're the ones that are fallen. The world just follows. It's our reflection. It forces you to live. Yes, it does require you to step away from what we know and start to live. John says, no one own anything. That's a conditioned perspective. Well, of course, yes, absolutely it is. We think we do, but we don't. I mean, that's why I love on the checklist, you pay for a mortgage. And it says on the application for a loan, do you own or rent? No. The financial institute owns it. You don't. They do. So you don't own the house. So how do you check a box that says I own it? You don't own it. You're renting. So, we have to really look at this. Let's see. Murray says, you can't change the entire system overnight. The French tried during the French Revolution and it wasn't pretty. No. And well, and understand that French Revolution and why they did that. I mean, you take the seat of government out of Paris, you move it into Versailles, and then Versailles is this opulent, gold-encrusted, laden, massive edifice, so apart from the people. And that's why they revolted. All the opulence, all of the waste, the money. That's why the French Revolution. It's hard. People get fed up at some point in time, and then you go into the other side of it, which is the conflictive side. But the more you can learn and understand about what we are doing, what's being done to us, who's doing it, that's when we can change. That's when we can understand things. That's what I'm saying. The world is in the mess that it is. Look at us. Wonder why people hate each other back and forth, why people hate the United States, why people in the United States hate other people? Because we have it in us. Because we hate. So long as we do, they're going to hate back. So we have to stop. It has to quit. Let's see. Candace says things are not what we should love. I love living beings. Yes, absolutely do too. Same thing here, Candace. What I'm trying to get everybody to be somewhat on the same page. Well, maybe not the same page, but at least within the same encyclopedia volume. Let's put it that way, and we'll narrow it down from there. Joseph says you need to come over for supper. We meet people every Saturday to discuss issues. A great thinkers meal, we all call it. I love it. That's great. A thinkers meal. The great thinkers meal. There you go. I like that. That's good. Where you can sound things off with everybody. And that's the thing. The object's not to sit down and surround yourself with people who think like you. Because believe me, I can't find a whole lot of people that think like me. That's probably a good thing. But it's what you learn from those that disagree with you, that are in conflict with what you have to say. And when you can actually say, okay, take a deep breath. And I have people, I've done this routinely, I do this. I'll open my mouth and I'll say something and someone will say, I totally disagree with you. And this is why. Or no, they'll say, I totally disagree with you. And I'll say, okay. I said, please, let's sit down and why don't we talk about this? I'll listen to what you have to say. And I don't say anything. I just let them go ahead and talk. I don't jump in. I don't try to defend myself, my point of view, because that's not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is to find out, maybe I am wrong and maybe they are right. But the only way I'm going to find out is if I let them talk and I sit there and listen. And so to me, that's what it's all about. Exchanging of ideas. See, that's it. The great thinkers meal. I like that. And you exchange ideas. And that's what we have to do. We really have to do this and understand that no topics are taboo. That's what we've learned. Wayne says, neither can I find a lot of people who think like you. Thanks, bro. You're absolutely right. God, I love you too, Wayne. Okay. But that's what it's about. You know, it's not about defending my ego. It's about controlling my ego to allow somebody else to then witness their ego. And then they have the option of then controlling that. You know, one of the best experiments we did. Yep, that's absolutely right. Thank you very much. Yep. That's my younger brother, and I love him. It's really a lot of fun. Murray says the world can only handle one. Yeah, that's it. You know, if they ever wanted to print a coin with my picture of my face on it, it would be one coin, and that would be the end of it. So I totally get you. Thank you. John says we've been working on it for quite a while now. We are nearing the precipice. Yes, we are, which will happen within the blink of an eye. That jumping off point, and it could already have happened. And this is the gradual adjustments towards our new way of being. Thank you, John. I totally get you. I totally get you, Jim. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I thank you so much for the compliment. You know, it's so difficult. It's easy when you set your ego aside because you don't have to defend yourself against anybody. You don't have to be on the defensive, because that's really what it is. It's our ego that does that. It forces us to get on the offense. We have to defend our position because the ego can't be wrong. And so since the ego can't be wrong, it will place us in whatever precarious position it can get us into for us to prove that we are right. But the moment that you stop and you don't react, the ego has no control over you because you're allowing someone else to voice their opinion. And by allowing someone else to voice their opinion, we get to learn. Now, we could learn that they're absolutely crackerjacks and have no idea what they're talking about. Or they just may have researched this and know way more than we do. And so that's part of the reason why I love doing this, these free-for-all Thursdays, is because from you guys, I get this stuff. And for the people out in radio, like I said, I'm not joking. Write to me, because this is what's important. You get to voice your opinion, and that's what I want to do. Diego says, Henry, would you recommend some good book to expand consciousness? You know, I'll tell you what, Diego. Yeah, in fact, I will get with you on a private message, because there are several. I'll tell you what. There's a good book for everybody to find if you can get it. It's like about a 78-page book, okay? And it's not so much on consciousness, but it talks more about what we do, how we live our life all the time, and what we have to do to strip away this stuff. And it's called The Knight in Rusty Armor. I know you can get it on Amazon. I mean, you can get it. I always wanted to get like 100 copies and give it out to everybody, but it's on Amazon. It's a 78-page book. It's about a 2.5-hour read and you're done. But it's powerful. It's extremely powerful, done in a very, in a way, humorous way. But it's called The Knight in Shining Armor, and it is phenomenal. It's a great book to give you an idea of what it is we do, why we do what we do, and why we react the way we react. It's an extremely good book. And I think, Diego, that would be the first step, I think, in getting to it, is, you know, dealing into consciousness and really trying to understand the world. We can't do that until we understand us. And, you know, and I am, like I said yesterday, I'm of the belief there is a supreme spirit out there. And I believe that that's the true creator, and that everything that everybody worships in the churches and the synagogues and whatever, that's the wrong one. That's not the real one. The real one is the creator. And I totally believe that. And part of that is from my work with developing consciousness and working on my consciousness. John says, Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosen. Oh, very good. There you go. That's a very good book. Marshall Rosenberg's Nonviolent Communication. These are things that we have to deal with. Oh, there you go. There's another one. Conversations. Yep. I haven't read this one. Conversations with God. I haven't read that one. By Neil Donald Walsh. Very good. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. And Diego, there's two great recommendations. And like I said, that The Knight in Shining Armor will set the stage for a lot of this stuff. Let's see. Nancy, hi, welcome. It's great to see you on the show. Appreciate you joining in. Shane's, wherever you go, there you are, by Alan Watts. Yes. Talk about trying to walk away from yourself. I love it. That's a good one. Freedom Code, authored by Adam. That's Kokesh. I haven't read that one either, John. That's very good. There you are, dear. See, now that's what I talk about. This is what it's all about, is getting things to understand. We have to step outside what we know in order to really understand. But once you can strip away this facade that we call to protect ourselves, that's when we start to flourish. That's when we really start to grow and flower. When we're standing there reacting to the stuff that's going on in this world, we are being controlled. It's when you can no longer react. My daughter mentioned that when we were back this last time, and we were watching the news, and I'm just sitting there, and she looked over at me and said, "Dad, are you okay?" I said, yes, sweetie, I'm fine. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm totally fine. Why? She goes, because you just watched the news, that story. I said, yeah. You didn't react. I said, no. It wasn't that long ago. You'd have gone through the roof when you heard that. I said, gotcha. Now I understand. Now, because that's not who I am anymore. I understood who was controlling me and why I was being controlled. And so that is part of the issue. Let's see. Oh, Shane recommends The Art of Happiness by the Dalai Lama. Oh my gosh, absolutely. Yep, there you go. Let's see. Candace says, sounds like a book I would like. Thank you. It is they are great books. Joseph says the Bible. There you go. Mary says Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. And Diego says, thanks everybody. There you go, Diego. See? There's it. You want a question? There's the answers. And thank you everybody, because that's what this is all about. This is what the show's all about. Is you guys got the answers, man. You guys have it. You're there. You know what you got to do. You just got to do it. Hey Brian, how are you, man? Thank you for listening in. It's great to see you there. I love the thumbs up. Thank you. We're not stupid. They think we are, and many out there are, but we're not stupid. We do know if you've got a pulse and you've spent any time trying to understand yourself, you know the answers. You know what you got to do. It's just having enough faith in taking the risk to go do it. I don't think mental telepathy is going to move that brick for me. But I do know that there's a way to get it to move it that isn't going to be destructive to me or to anybody else. We understand and we know what we have to do. We simply have to go and do it. We know we have to question everything that we have learned. The bottom line, we have to. We'll never get out of this suit of ours, this rusty armor, if we don't realize and open our eyes and admit the fact that we got a lot of fixing to do. And that's all it is. And it's not about just getting in the system and not just bartering or just not growing your own food or running off the grid. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with you. It has to do with us, inside of us. It is all there. We just have to realize it's all there. And we have to start accepting and trusting in us. The answers aren't out there. The answers are in here. And that's where we have to really start working at it. So Shane says, it's a different take, but as you mentioned, The Art of War is it is an excellent book. God, I really love that book. It really gives you the idea of what's going on and why things are done the way they are here. Mein Kampf is a tremendous book if you really want to understand what's going on in Washington right now. It's a fabulous book. I read it years and years ago. In fact, I need to get it again and reread it again because it's just so appropriate. Do something you honestly love and makes you feel good in the heart. Absolutely right. John says, highly confusing, too many visions, lots of omitted content, but definitely lots of great stuff within. As long as you have the foundation to delineate that Meshuggah. Absolutely right. You have to know yourself. You have to know what your limits are. You have to know what your foundation is versus what the foundation was somebody else built. We were given the answers. We were given everything at our conception. We were given it all. And from the moment of our birth, we have been covering and covering it up and covering it up and covering it up with all of this garbage we've been learning. So there is the issue. Don Livingston dividing the indivisible. Yep. There are so many great things out there, as far as trying to understand yourself, and that's really where it starts. The moment you start learning and understanding yourself, all of the stuff going on in this world becomes so obvious. And it's amazing the difference. Just absolutely amazing the difference. Once you start realizing what's going on, again, it's stepping away from that tree, stepping back from the forest to realize you're in the forest. The old adage, you can't see the forest for the trees because you're too close to them. You step back and take another step back. That didn't work. Step back further. Take another step back. I did. I stepped right out of the country in order to get a real clear vision of what's happening and what's going on. And I didn't like the way it was going. So I'm here. And I'm not saying that this is perfect. It isn't. No matter where you go. So long as there's the government involved, it's never going to be perfect. But I'm far more comfortable. And, I can't say that when I was living back there. Let's see. What have we got? Joseph says to John, King James Version, Hebrews and Greek, closest to the actual teachings. And we'll get into this one of these days. Really, we'll get into it pretty hot and heavy. Let's see. Diego says, if you guys can read anytime The Return of the Wizards from Lewis, that's Powell's, I guess. And it's a great reading. Thank you very much for the recommendation, Diego. Thank you, Candace. I ignore everything around me forever. I was amazing. It was amazing when I started paying attention. Yeah, exactly. Whoa, I guess we're running about out of time, aren't we there, bro? 2 minutes. Wow, that's my timekeeper. I like it. Thank you so much, Wayne. I appreciate it. Okay. 1 more minute to go. All right. Hey, guys, I want to thank you. I mean, this was an experiment to go ahead and do this and see how it works. And we'll try to figure out how we're going to incorporate this. If this is the way it goes, let me know. If this is the way you like. If this is also the way what you want to see done, then let's get with Brian and we'll talk to him about it. Again, yes, I know it went by so fast. Again, I love this too very much, John. This is what I love to do, and I love all the involvement. It's really cool. So I really thank you so much for this. And you wanted the hour, you got it, and we'll see how well this goes, how successful this is. And like I said, let John know what you like. So until Sunday evening, hasta luego, and we'll see you on Sunday evening. Thanks so much, everybody. Take care. Have a great weekend.